Is length ever an issue? In TMJC, clearly so. One of the longest paper that I see, but doesn't make it the hardest? Find out why in today's episode of Alright, welcome back to another video. This is Yao from VANTAGE TUTOR, a class above the rest, and for today's prelim paper review, it is a special edition. It is for the JC1 WA1 and it is from 2025 Tampines Meridian Junior College H2 Chemistry JC1 WA1. Now before I begin, these are the questions that I feel are insightful and probably worth your time to try. And if you would like to try this paper, you're invited to join my Telegram channel where I've uploaded a short summary along with a download link on my blog. Have a go at it, let me know how you did. And yes, I have started a tuition center. It is located near Boon Keng and SAJC. Regular classes are up and running. The full schedule can be found on my website, and more importantly, I am going to do something unprecedented. I am going to do an open class where I produce a mock exam paper catered to your school. And for the TMJC students, this will be on 20th July in the morning. More details to drop. Follow me on my Telegram channel and you'll be informed of the latest updates. So wait no more, sign up today, link is in the bio. I'll see you there. Now firstly, this paper, it has to be said, a very long paper. When I was trying to scan the pages, I was wondering when is this going to ever end. But does this mean that this is the bad paper? Let's find out via my 3 matrices. Number 1 relevance, number 2 insightfulness, number 3 difficulty, before I give an overall score and recommend to you the type of students who should try this paper. And of course, if I had a student who had to sit for this paper under exam condition, what would be a fair expectation of him from me in order for him to score an A in his actual A levels? Firstly, relevance. Most papers will have some level of MCQ. In this paper, there's none. But in terms of topics, what you expect for a JC1? Atomic structure, mole and redox. And you can see that being applied to the deadliest of N in this paper. They did everything there is to test on mole and redox and atomic structure. From your abundance level all the way to your limiting reagent and even your empirical formula. That's how deep they went. They really cleared every single aspect of the topic. In fact, some of the questions here, for example, question 2 looks rather simple on the surface, but really there is more to it than meets the eye. However, in terms of where it tends to drift from what I expect from a typical WA is it feels very heavy on the calculation. It feels like they are driving the same point again and again throughout the entire paper. It feels relentless of a paper and it doesn't feel as expensive as I like it to be. Nothing too much to say about the relevance. There are some insights to be taken away, but nothing too special. And because of how relentless they went at the topics being tested, every aspect of it, I just find that it went too deep. And therefore I don't see many other schools doing that. The relevance of this paper will be given a rather average 6 out of 10. Next, insightfulness. This, I have quite some things to say. Now, there's not really an application question, there's not really an anchor question. Even though there is an experiment question where mole and redox, you talk about aliquot, you have seen what I said about other WA papers, this is what you kind of expect already. And in this paper, there isn't really much of a story behind the mole and redox, unlike the one that you see in NYJC or other schools WA. It's indeed a rather technical paper. However, the insights of this paper comes from the small details. For example, question 2 that I mentioned, and more importantly, your atomic structure in terms of question 1. I prepared my students specifically just before their WA. I prepared a mock paper and I told them on atomic structure is on ionization energy, but what's a small detail here that you need to realize? The axis. Second ionization energy. And then I went on to tell them how to decipher such a question as quickly as possible within seconds so that you don't have to do mental gymnastics to find out what's the unknown element, even though it could be the 5th, 6th, or even the 99th ionization energy of the atom. And hence, this paper, in terms of insights, is not the most mind-blowing. It's in terms of having students to notice the small detail before they jump right into it. Like I said, on the surface, this paper looks rather typical, but when you get down to doing it, only the best of the best students will notice the small detail that they try to hide and conceal from you. You only realize the problem after you've gotten back your marks. And hence, the insightfulness of this paper, not spectacular, but neither is it a very typical paper. You'll be given a very respectable 7 out of 10. Next, difficulty. Right off the bat, difficult paper, but not for the reasons that you think it to be. It is a difficult paper in terms of completing the paper. It really feels very long. There is no MCQ for you to take a break. There is no straightforward questions. In the straightforward questions that you mistakenly thought it is not straightforward because of the small details that I mentioned just now. You overlook it, you think you got the answer, but only when you got back your score, you realize, why is it below my expectation? It's simply because you did not notice the small details and then you mistakenly attribute it to a careless mistake. It is not a careless mistake if you don't know what to look for in a particular question. And that's what we try to do in our classes. We are always trying to get you to look beyond what other typical students would see so that you can score higher than what other students would. And that's why this paper is a difficult paper. It is able to sieve out the students who are not just competent but pays attention to the detail. And the biggest thing about this paper is it also tends to focus a lot on calculation. As you move on from question 2, you start to dry yourself up. And it really is a chore to pull through. I myself would find it a chore to pull through, and hence the difficulty of this paper does not come from difficult questions. It comes from noticing the small details and being able to last throughout the marathon of a race that this paper is. And hence the difficulty of this paper will be given a rather solid 8 out of 10. Overall, decent paper. I wouldn't say it appeals to me very much, but I can see what the teachers are trying to do. They really tested every aspect of the syllabus in terms of atomic structure and mole and redox. They literally missed nothing out. If you look at other WA papers, certain parts they may have left out, maybe abundance, they do not test as extensive as you would have liked. But in this paper, they really went to the deepest of end, and therefore it makes it a weakness of this paper. They are relentless, they keep going on and on about the same thing. But that doesn't mean that this is a bad paper. I just don't see it being measure of a student's ability in a certain concept. I wish they would have done something a bit different, given them a bit more context and application, but then again, it is what it is. And hence, the overall score of this paper will be given a somewhat average 5.5 out of 10. And if I had a student who had to sit for this paper under exam condition, a fair expectation of him would be 65% in order for him to score an A in his actual A levels. Finally, who I recommend this paper to? I recommend this paper to students who are looking to revise on the topical level for your atomic structure and mole and redox. This paper gives you everything. It even caters to the combined chemistry students who may not have learned your empirical formula, who may not be so competent in your limiting reagent, who may have lacked practice in terms of calculation of your stoichiometry. Everything you want in mole and redox from O levels all the way to A levels is in there. They missed nothing out. And the best part about using this as a topical revision is the paper is stripped of almost any context. There is some in terms of the nitrogen mustard, and most of this context comes from noticing the small details I keep talking about over and over again in this paper. And therefore, this is the perfect practice for topical revision, whether you're J1 or even J2 who happens to be weaker in your calculation. And hence, if you are a JC1 student looking to prepare for your WA1, your promo, or just looking for a recap as a JC2, but on a topical level, this paper is spectacular. It's perfect for you. Right, so we've come to the end of this Prelim paper review of 2025 Tampines Meridian Junior College H2 Chemistry JC1 WA1. Now, if you like what I'm doing, follow me on TikTok, like my video, comment, and share it with your friends. I'm sure this will help them, because ultimately, I'm on my way to 10,000 followers. And if you would like to try this paper, you're invited to join my Telegram channel where I've uploaded a short summary along with a download link on my blog. Have a go at it, let me know how you did. And yes, I have started a tuition center. It is located near Boon King and SAJC. Regular classes are up and running, and the open class will be on the 20th of July in the morning. So if you're looking to try a mock paper catered to your JC, wait no more, follow me on my Prelim paper review Telegram channel, sign up via the link in the bio, and I'll see you there. Nothing else. This is your love from Vantage Tutor, a class above the rest. Take care.